Greetings, Kevin B&B 572, Phil here. What I'd like to do is give you a few tips for marking up our PDFs. Everyone's doing a great job of highlighting and putting comments into the side, but I encouraged you to also mark up the display items, the figures and the tables. And so what I've done here is to open up the simple Acrobat Reader, the freely available one, and I'm going to show you a few tips just using a mouse. If you have an iPad or a tablet, it might also give you other options, but you can do a lot just from a mouse. And so I'm going to go ahead and scroll down to the first figure, which is right here. And what you want to do is go over on the right, and if it's not already open, click on this arrowhead to expand the sidebar, and then go ahead and click on Comment. And when you do that, this toolbar will drop down, and that will give you a bunch of different choices. And so you can close this again, and that toolbar stays. And one of the things I might want to mark up is over here. This is the E. coli promoter, so I can go ahead and grab this little tool there, which is called the text callout, and I can click here and drag, and it get a little arrowhead with a box, and then I can go in here and type in, say, E. coli promoter. And one of the nice things is I can also make this italics if I want to. I can click outside the box or back in the box and highlight all the text, and depending on how wide your monitor is, you can click here under options and go to text properties, and you can change the size and the font. I've already made mine 8-point, which I think is nice, but you could choose whatever you like and also change the color. I think red stands out pretty nicely. And once you're done, then you can click somewhere else, click back on this, right click on it, and go down and click on properties, and then you can adjust things like whether or not there's a border on it, and you can say no border like that if you don't like the border. I don't particularly like the border, and then say OK. I can also resize this to make it a little bit smaller, and then click outside it. And so that's what I have, and I can adjust the size a little bit too if I want to not have it cover up the text and so on. So that's one choice right there. And the other thing is, once you're happy with this, you should right click on it, go down and say make current properties default. And so if I go in and I click on this tool again, it should have the same properties. So if I go in here and click on that guy, you can see that now the box is gone, and I can type in here. This is what he's calling the roadblock. So I'll just call it roadblock with com, and I hit the return 3'N. Okay. So now that's all set. I can click outside of that, and it's ready to go. There's a couple other tools that are useful. One is the arrowhead. So for example, here I can go ahead and just draw a straight arrowhead into something. So for example, let's see, I might want to do here, just point to that, and then I can write in there. And the way I can do that, there's a couple ways, but I can add a text box, which is very similar to what we just did, and you can see it's going to come in with a border, and then I can go in and change the default parameters and so on. Let me click outside of that and delete that. But what's really useful is just the simple text tool, and so I can come in here and just type in some text like that. And this one's not quite as powerful as the other one. I can go in here with text properties. I can change the color and so on. And I should be able to escape out of this, click on this, and change the default properties as well. It looks like I can't change the default on the text. Okay, so that's good to know. So I can go outside of here. This was just to show you guys kind of what I'm doing. And delete that. I right-clicked to delete those things. And then lastly, the other thing that's really useful is to just grab the pen tool, and even with a mouse I can go ahead and do a number of different things. So for example, this DNA ligation here refers to putting on this blue piece. So I might want to do that, because otherwise I just see the word DNA ligation. I don't remember what that means. And so, so I can come in here and I can grab the text again and say, like over here, DNA ligation adds, I guess it did keep it default as orange, adds blue piece. Okay, now I can escape. I hit the escape button to escape out of that. Once I do that, I can go ahead and grab it and put it right there. It looks a little big, so I can do this, go over here to the button, text properties, and I can make it smaller if I want to hide it out of the way. So, so I think a lot of those things are really useful. Now, of course, it's always possible to go in and use the balloon, and I could have done that and said, you know, DNA ligation adds blue piece, and it would be the same thing, except that when I post it and close it, now I can't see it unless I hover over it. So sometimes that's desirable and sometimes it's not. And lastly, you know, the other thing is to remember to draw lines to connect ideas. So for example, this mauve kind of color right here is the nascent 3' N that we then add and ligate onto ultimately, and then that ends up over here, because that end is that end, and then this is ultimately sequenced up here. Okay, so you know, by moving kind of slowly with the mouse, I'm able to do all that, and then I can connect all these ideas. You know, I guess you have to be careful you don't make a total mess, but I think this is a useful way to go in and see everything that's going on. So I would encourage you to use the text, to use the showing text, to use the comment thing sparingly in figures, to draw, and to use those arrows. And I think you'll find it easier as you go through and go back to answer the questions and everything. Okay, I hope this helps. Thanks for watching. Bye.